Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, May 11th, 2024. As I make this video, we're in the middle of a very large solar storm event, which solar activity is a constant in our lives, but we've got some unusual levels happening with this solar storm. Recently, the magnitude was out of a scale of up to 5, was listed as a 5.6. These levels of activity and sunspot activity and solar storm haven't been seen, as far as I can tell from what I was reading, I am no expert, since 2003, which we survived, didn't we? But I had people, one of them, my viewer Kate, asked me to do a read about the solar storm. Even though we're in the middle of it, I didn't jump on it before it reached us. And I've got a compilation for you, an interesting perspective, or at least in my mind it was, with one of my inclusions. And then we'll see if the universe has any insights or advice for us. Let me go to our share screen, and you can access that by clicking on the Facebook link in the video description box if you choose to follow those links or read them a little closer. I will mention what they are in case you don't do Facebook. Okay, here we go. As you can see, here's the level of current activity going on with a wow. There's a 3-hour delay on this, so we're already beyond that. But obviously the levels are much higher of the on the K index than they've been in quite some time. Now, here was the interesting perspective I had from a not very large account on Twitter. He was speaking about the scalar weapons and how distance isn't a factor in them, that they can be both used to attack the sun or defend the earth. And one of the takeaways I got from that, because, I was, first of all, just thinking, oh my goodness, solar activity is solar activity. We here on this realm of existence don't have the technology to affect it. While I think it can be, I think that's from those with a lot more technology and advanced situations going on than we have. But one of the things I liked that he said here was that he thought, even though the levels of activity were much higher than we've seen in quite some time, even though the scale they currently use to measure the activity, he says that, now before you freak out, I believe Earth can easily survive an X100 class solar flare. Crazy things would happen, but we would live. And I liked that perspective, that even if we get to unusual levels on this solar activity, that we will survive it. We absolutely will. I agree with that statement very much. Now, so you could do some reading and decide for yourself if the solar activity is completely naturally occurring, or if it's been prodded and poked by interference. I'm not going there with the read. I'm just going to look for insights and information. If that's something that comes out of it, that is absolutely great. Now, a couple of very practical links for you. I have the NOAA, a government site that lists the weather prediction and talks about the alerts. And here's one about the geomagnetic storm, that this X event is going to exceed M5. Okay, and that it will begin at actually, I don't know quickly how to do conversions here. At 1446 UTC, I think I'm 7 hours beyond that. I'm not sure. So, but anyway, you can look, and there's lots of good links here. Providing that they're giving accurate information, it can be a valuable resource. Okay, then on space.com, they had an item that was discussing the sunspot. Here's what its name is and what it's doing, and that it is sparking some radio blackouts. We know we've had, what I woke up to, which I thought was beautiful, was all of the aurora activity that people were putting pictures of. That's always the beautiful side of solar activity. Now, here is on Rose Rambles, there is a Restored Republic unredacted version here, which includes some information on this. Seems to have a little bit of a fear porn component to it. But again, I'll include that if you'd like to know. Just If you let me say God wins and God's in charge, it helps us to keep our perspective. Even if things get concerning, we can face it with logic and resilience. So let's ask the universe. This solar storm is supposed to increase. In fact, as I was coming on to make this video, in a local kind of community watch group that I'm a member of, someone said, what is going on with the sirens in my town? I can't hear them from my house. And people chimed in, well, they're also happening in Fort Kent. They're also happening here. They're also happening here. So there is something going on. Whether it's related to the sunspot activity, I don't claim to know. Last night, I woke up fully awake and stayed up for 2 hours during some of this activity. Was it related to the sunspot and solar storm? I think so. Can't prove it. I read that during this solar storm, those of us with some sort of extrasensory abilities or psychic abilities are going to see an increase in those abilities. And I'm very curious, and is that related? Obviously, it's related to the sunspot. But my big question is, are upgrades in process? And are there, because that's what those of us that are awake are thinking, that embedded and encoded in this activity, no matter who thought they started it, are some good upgrades for the structure of the normal human being. So let's ask the universe. We're going to ask smart questions so that the universe is allowed to answer kind of not in one very straight line, because the universe is literal. But if you fold open your question a little bit, asking for insights and information, and then get inclusions that you might miss with a less thoughtful question. So we're going to ask the universe, is there any truth to the speculation that this solar storm we're going through, regardless of origin, is it performing some upgrades in the human physical being, plus other insights and information and even advice we might need to know? Now, let's change the camera. You can watch me work with the cards and we'll find out together what the universe wants us to know. Again, the yes or no element to this question is there truth to the thought that the solar storm might also be bringing some very beneficial and needed upgrades and healing energy, or something along that line for human beings, plus insights, information, or advice? I know one of the things that I read was a strong, and this is true, with a strong enough electromagnetic pulse, which can come from the sun, electronics can be interfered with, and our cars are so tied to computer and electronic components now. They said that it might be wise to not be traveling too far from home the next few days, if you can avoid it. If you can't, you can't. If you have a 1-hour commute to get to work and you don't have the leave time to take a day off because that's fine. Live your life, okay? Just put some good walking shoes and a couple bottles of water in the car. Okay, again, since I did a little chatter, we're asking, is there truth to the thought that this solar storm is also bringing some very some beneficial and awesome upgrades for humans, plus insights, information, or advice about this solar storm that is rather unusual in magnitude? With enough of a K index, it wouldn't matter if you were facing away. If it was nighttime when it hit, it would circle the globe, is my understanding. All right. We got a hard yes, Ace of Wands. So we are getting upgrades, guys. Don't avoid the sunshine. Okay. Then we have a 4 of Swords, Page of Pentacles, 10. I'm not seeing anything to worry about. 10 of Cups. Looking ahead, we got the 2 of Cups, King of Cups, the Sun. How appropriate for this read. Okay, I'm going to give you the insights, and I was blurting them as I went just because they were hidden as I was putting the cards out. But I'll give you some additional insights here, and then we'll look at elements of the card that led me to say that. For those of you that are on a tarot journey that doesn't yet include reading, or maybe you are and will come to some different conclusions or decisions about this because, hey, it's my read and I'm going to share my intuition and yours may differ slightly because your reality may differ slightly, and that's okay. Okay, so again, our question had a yes or no element, and anytime it shows up in my card read, we get a yes, but here where it showed up first under the situation, it was a very emphatic yes, that there is truth to the thought that this solar storm is providing some healing and upgrade energy for human beings. Absolutely. Now, there's other stuff going on, and at this point, there's not full disclosure happening in this read. That I always get that with this card that shows that there's a little going on under the surface that the universe just isn't prepared to share yet. So, and the other thing, there's an advice element in this card too. It's saying, during this storm, be gentle with yourself. As I said, I noticed some sleep disruptions. I've had other friends that are talking about mood disruptions or aches and pains, or just, lots of energy. Everybody's different. So energy like this is going to affect everybody differently. So be gentle with yourself. If you're feeling the need for extra sleep, or like last night where I had disrupted sleep, I didn't even fight it. I just got up for an hour and then I went back to bed. So be gentle with yourself and understand that there's a little more going on than we're being told in this read, or that we're ready for at this time. Now, Page of Pentacles always talks about worthwhile effort. Okay, so we have benevolent, loving, divine oversight. The human race does. And we have been found worthy of effort to help us get out of our slave world type of system and reality. So for those who have, and I'm thinking of everybody from my loving creator to benevolent off-world that are willing and have been part of this endeavor, we were found worthwhile. There was something salvageable and fixable about us, and thank you. Thank you for those who are helping us on this journey. And look here, we've got the 10 of Cups telling us, first of all, it's celebration time. Okay, these upgrades are going to be really fantastic. Even if there are some communication disruptions, even if it went farther and we had some grids go down and things like that, overall, this solar storm is going to be beneficial and something we will celebrate. I love that. Now let's look at the near future. We got the 2 of Cups going on, again, a card of some agreement. There's also a little sky activity going on with this. So the timing and happening of this, maybe it was beyond our Earth capabilities to anticipate before the flare happened and people could record it and see that, oh, in a few hours we'll have this or that. Yeah, it's a very pivotal event that's been well planned. Now, King of Cups, lots of cups showing up here. We got cups, cups, cups. Those are our emotions. Okay. So while we're told we're going to be happy with the results, even right now, we can be happy with some of the stuff that's going on. This is an emotional time. Remember, go back to this advice of be gentle with yourself. And since the sword suit is words in written or spoken form, little advice there to stop and think before you share an opinion or vent or take an emotion out on someone. Just stop and think. Okay? It doesn't hurt. If it's something you really need to share, you can choose the right time and the right way to share something. Okay, so we got the King of Cups is our strongest advice card, and he is saying, again, that stop and think. Understand that these energies are going to have our systems kind of in an uncomfortable place because we're not there very often, So be gentle with yourself. And the sun's showing up. I love the sun is a success card. There is no other way to read it. Okay, so this is just, there's nothing cautionary at this point in the read. I will get 2 more cards and see further advice. Again, the practical that I was reading, since EMP events can affect electronics, protect your devices, use surge protectors for the next couple of days. And if you can, limit your pleasure driving a little bit, just in case it affects our vehicles. If you have an older vehicle in the 1970s or earlier, you don't have to worry. All right, we have the Five of Swords and the Moon card. Okay, this is the first time we've got any kind of element of caution happening in the read. I like that it's showing up as the last two cards because they have the least power and energy. I think what's going on is we're going to only get partial truths about reporting about this. As someone was saying in some of the items I was reading, our governments, if there was a need to shelter or to prepare, they would not advise us. They would not. So just an acknowledgement that, yeah, we could have had more advisories on how to prepare other than flashlights and batteries. I hear the DoD put out a phone call telling their members to prepare for a short power outage. They need flashlights and extra batteries. That doesn't sound like long-term planning, does it? But it does sound like, a sensible precaution to take, just like using surge protectors, just like having I filled up my car because if the electricity's out, the gas pumps aren't going to work. So just little things. Did I buy extra gas, cans of gas? No, just made sure my car was full. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is not an indication that there may be, in some spots, there may be enough solar activity or EMP event that there's going to be a loss of life. I'm hoping not. I hope that, again, where it landed on that there's some information I'm not sharing with you. It's a possibility. The one thing that's not in question is the fact that our mainstream medias and our governments aren't going to be totally candid with us about the amount of prep we could have had or the notice we could have had and should have had. Let's recap. Had a viewer, Kate, asked me if I do a read about the solar storm, and took me a little bit to figure out the perspective I wanted to come at the question. The compilation that I shared with you does share an engineer's opinion of the event and the fact that there is indeed a possibility that it was impacted in some way by a scalar weapon. And he goes into a little detail about what that is. The reassuring element of that was he said, even though we're at a K5, he firmly believed that we could survive a K100. There'd be, changes and upheaval, but the human race would carry on. And we're 95 away from that with the K5.6. So then I shared a couple of links that were government where they track events like this and provided that they're doing their due diligence and adding information that we need to know. Those links may be useful to you. And then a link to a discussion of the event that, like I said, there's a little fear porn element to it that I didn't buy into. I hope you don't either, but it was, some discussion about what's going on. So we asked the cards, is there truth to the hopeful speculation some have had that this solar storm is actually bringing us some healing and upgrade energy to the human body, the human system, whether it's our DNA or a structure, what have you? We got a very hard yes about that. Now, additionally, we asked for insights, information, and possibly advice. We were told that there's some information that's not being shared by the universe at this time. But the advice element also of this card was this geomagnetic storm that we're going through is going to have effects on human systems and animal systems. Some people are talking about their animals are agitated, others that their animals are sleeping all the time. So to just be gentle with yourself. The overall, currently, there's a big celebration going on that I think there's enough people that are open to receiving healing and upgrade energy that there's a party going on. Now, we also had the Sun card show up, and it showed up in one of the positions for advice and insights and information, always a success card. So no matter what happens during the course of the solar event, if we have radio disruptions, electricity disruptions, if you didn't think ahead and have surge protectors on hand and you have some issues, overall, this is a good thing that's happening to us. When we got to the least relevant cards, the last two of the read, we got the first hint that there's an element of this that, first of all, this card usually indicates always indicates that there's been some lies, some prevarication. And what I'm seeing with the sword showing up, that and the 5 means it's temporary, okay, that there is going to be, there has been and will continue to be a lack of truly honest and complete information flow from government sources about this. We won't have had the advice to prepare that we could have had, the advance notice, the proactive type of thing at the very least. It also does, it fell on top of the card talking about some hidden information. So there is a chance for a loss of life. The only thing that I'm taking away from that that's on a hopeful nature, first of all, the 5 indicates it's a temporary situation. And this, if there is a loss of life element, it's not going to be too extensive. Of course, that doesn't matter if it's you or a loved one. I mean, it doesn't feel extensive to you, but it's nice to know that it wouldn't be something on the order of civilization as we know it going to the wayside. Which it kind of needs to, but we want it to be in a happy ascending sort of way, doesn't it? That's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and attention, and for subscribing to my channel and resubscribing. Those of you that are tenacious and don't let YouTube bump you off, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'd love to know what the true numbers of likes and subscribers and viewers are, but that information is still played with, and I'll never know exactly. All I know is I feel like what I'm doing is worthwhile, even if it was only to 5 or 6 of you. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and sharing it with you as honestly as I can for as long as I can. And until next time, which, if things go right, I'm planning to do a second video today. Just because if our energy is heightened with this solar activity, I might as well jump on it for a good thing, right? Plus, I've got several ideas that have just been wanting to be explored, and I like to do that with you, not by myself. So until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright. And remember, we were told that Sun card showed up, that Ace card showed up. If you have a chance to get out and enjoy some sunshine, do it without fear. Until next time, bye.